The gallery was alive with the murmur of art critics, collectors, and socialites, all eager to see the unveiling of Valeria Moreau's latest masterpiece. The champagne flowed, the cameras flashed, and at the heart of it all stood Edgar Bellamy, the most feared critic in the art world. For years, he had mocked Valeria's work. A shallow attempt at depth, he once wrote. Pretty but empty, much like the artist herself. He had dismissed her as nothing more than a pretty face, an object to be admired but never taken seriously. And the industry followed his lead, reducing her to whispers and shadows. But tonight she would have her revenge. Valeria had spent months preparing for this moment, not just perfecting her art, but perfecting the game. She knew Edgar's type, powerful, arrogant, addicted to control, so she became his temptation. She let their paths cross at the right parties, let her hand linger on his arm a little longer than necessary. She smiled at him like he was the most fascinating man in the room, when in truth, he was nothing but her prey. And when he finally invited her to his penthouse for a private discussion on artistic integrity, she went willingly. The air in Edgar's lavish apartment was thick with tension. He poured them both a glass of red wine, his gaze lingering on the curve of her lips as she sipped. "You're talented, Valeria," he murmured, his voice dripping with false sincerity. "You just need the right inspiration." She tilted her head, feigning innocence. "And you think you can provide that?" His smirk was all the confirmation she needed. She let him think he was in control as he touched her. As their bodies intertwined in the dim glow of the city lights, her mind was focused on something else entirely. She had hidden cameras in the room, and by morning, she would own him. At the gallery, the time had come. With a slow, deliberate motion, Valeria pulled the silk cover off her painting. Gasps filled the room, because her masterpiece was not just a painting, it was a mirror. A raw, intimate portrayal of power, seduction, and hypocrisy. It was Edgar, his face, his desire, his lust for control, all immortalized in strokes of oil and shadow. It wasn't explicit, but it didn't need to be. The knowing glances, the hushed whispers, the way the color drained from Edgar's face as he realized exactly what she had done, it was all part of the performance. "Is that? Oh my God, it's him." Brilliant. Exposing the very men who shaped the art world. Edgar turned to her, furious, humiliated. "You planned this?" Valeria leaned in close, her lips brushing against his ear as she whispered, "Consider it my critique of you." By morning, Edgar Bellamy's career was in ruins. No longer the untouchable critic, he had become the scandal, the subject of ridicule. And Valeria? Her painting sold for millions. She was hailed as a genius, an artist who had not only mastered her craft, but had exposed the very hypocrisy of the art world itself. She had rewritten the rules. And as she stood in her studio, sipping champagne, watching the headlines destroy the man who once belittled her, Valeria smiled. Because true art is knowing exactly where to strike.